Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hello. Welcome to Tarim Talks. In this episode, we have an exciting guest, Yadykar Ibraimov. He's a film producer, film director, an artist, photographer, I guess everything mixed in one kind, sort of. So, Yadykar, please, could you briefly tell about yourself?
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Assalamu alaikum, Tumaris and Tarim Talks listeners and viewers. Very much pleased to be here today. I'm Yadykar and I'm a filmmaker, but I also work in different mediums like photography, and sometimes when my friends ask me, I also act in different short films and commercials and secondary type of roles sometimes. But my main thing is to make documentaries at this point of life.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Just off top, you can call me Tumaris as well, because sort of my Uyghur name is Tumaris, but
Tumaris.
Yeah, so it's okay to call me Tumaris because everyone in Tarim knows me as Tumaris. So yeah. All right, thanks, Rafkat. Thank you for joining us today.
Yadykar, not Rafkat.
Oh my God, sorry.
That was the previous.
Okay, thank you, Yadykar, for joining us today. I see that you're doing...
But I take it as the compliment.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
Rafkat is a very, very beautiful name.
Yadykar is also a beautiful name. It's, I guess it's translated as memory, right?
Yes, it is, as I know.
Yeah. All right. As I hear, you are doing a wide range of stuff in your life. Could you please tell us, how did you get to filmmaking? How did you start doing that? Did you study, or it was a hobby that sort of developed into something as big as it is right now?
Thank you for this question. I think it's a very important question for me. It was all my life. I came into the filmmaking by studying it. I enrolled the film school in 2012, but it all started in early childhood when I was watching TV all the time. It was my main hobby. Main type of spending my time, and I consider the TV as my third parent. Truly, I fell in love with the movies that were shown on the TV in the 90s, and all that time I was thinking, what if I will be someday a person who will be in that industry? But of course, I did not know how to get there or what it is, and I never heard the word the film director before I was 18 or so. And after high school, I saw an article in a newspaper that my parents were getting every Friday. There was an article about local film director, and I happen to know that there is a film school in our city in Almaty, and I went and researched it, and I went there, and they said to me that there is a film department and how to get there, but after school I couldn't didn't have a chance to enroll there. I couldn't get the scholarship, of governmental scholarship, and I went to study elsewhere. And only after 3 or 4 years, I enrolled back into the film school, got a scholarship, and studied there a formal education, film education, for 5 years. It was art, fine art university It's called Kazakh National Academy of Arts. Yeah. So officially, I'm a film director by the diploma.
By the diploma, so you have a paper proving that you're a film director. Awesome. And you said that you had sort of 3 gap years, basically, before you enrolled into the film school. And did you already start filming something, shooting in that period?
Not really, but I remember there was in Kimep, there was a film teacher. I think his name was Tim Becker that years. And I don't remember how I got acquainted with him, but he was shooting a short film that time. And I got as... he invited me to work as the assistant for him, and I worked as assistant for a little while on that project. And right away, without knowing anything, he said to me, "You'll be the third or second camera operator," and I didn't know anything about that. It was just
so you were learning by practice.
Learning by practice, yeah. Right. And I think one of my friends, he also tried to shoot a short film. I was also helping him out, and and not so much practice, yeah. But right away, first year in the film school, we got into the fire with our teachers. Our main workshop teacher, he was a big film director, and he got a major film project for himself that year, and he hired us as the assistants that year. And we were just first year were working on his project right away in different departments. Everybody was working in lights department, in the art department, and after the production, we were all working in editorial. And in the end, we were finishing the project.
All right.
Already with a big experience.
Interesting. Great. So it was basically a childhood dream that came true for you, right? You were sort of following that idea of becoming a film director, getting into the film school, getting the diploma.
In a way, yes. But still, I think every time I'm on a set, doesn't matter what kind of a role I have there, as a director or as a assistant producer or actor or whatever, I still feel like the magic of it. I still cannot believe that I'm in the industry somehow. It's so cool. It's still cool for me, you know. But also, I think it's important to say that when I shared that in high school times with my Uyghur family, they were all opposing that idea.
That was my next question. Actually, I was about to ask how your family reacted to you choosing that sort of.
I think it's very important to express that because I think a lot of young people go through that internal conflict in that young age, what to do with life. I was having the dream, but I didn't know how to get there, or if it's really can be a reality at some point of time. And I think many people feel that, especially right now. And going back in time, I shared that with people who I respect in family, who have some authority. At that time, it was some uncles and aunts, and all of them were saying, "Nah, it's bullshit. You cannot go there. You cannot do some art job because it's cannot get you anywhere. Can get you anywhere. You will end up being a drunkard on the street, you know." And I was like, in some way, I could not believe that the people who I came for some support, they would be opposing that, not encouraging me to follow that. But at that time, I was sort of very bummed out because of those opinions. And in some way, my parents also were influenced by that opinions, and maybe because of that, I was not so much myself, believing in myself that I can get there. And but afterwards, I was like, whatever, fuck it, I'll do what I was was born to do somehow. Why should I spend more time following some other's agenda, not mine? So I went and did what I did, and I never regret that. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think, the message is, if you have this idea or the dream to follow something, and your Uyghur family is opposing that, you have to oppose them. You have to be in conflict with your family, because you have to choose your own path. And I think why they saying that, because of their own experiences, because they maybe also had some kind of dreams, but that they left behind.
That they left.
And they see that the young generations, they have to also go through some very written scenario, but not something that they have a passion to. So the message is just follow your own thing.
Cool. Such a powerful message. I think it's not a problem only for Uyghur communities or Uyghur families. It's such a common story that happens every single time within the, I think, small local communities or diasporas or immigrant families all around the world. For instance, I can hear a lot of stories from, we all know the stereotypical jokes about Middle Eastern families in US, for example, wanting, or brown families, let's say, in US, wanting their kids either be lawyers, doctors, or real estate agents or something like that. So they basically have doctors, lawyers, and something else. Yeah, like 3 occupations that they want their kids to follow. And this is sort of a written scenario that people try to push their kids towards to, simply because they're afraid of their life. They have their own experiences, traumas, and everything that they have on their shoulders, and they're trying to protect children. And instead of protecting, they're sort of pushing them away from their dreams. And I think this is a common problem that a lot of people might be facing right now, especially knowing that most of our people who are listening to us and watching us are youngsters, let's say. There's a great message to you guys. Follow your dreams, do whatever you want to do. And how do you feel now? Sort of, you have pushed your family, did what you wanted to do, years passed, and do you feel, you said that you're not regretting it, and how does your family feels about what you did?
I think they also, I think that there was I imagine that, I don't remember who said that. One of the big film directors, he said that somebody also was saying to him, after he showed his a short film script to somebody he respected, and that person said to him, you should forget about filmmaking, you should do something else. You will not do anything good with your life if you go to filmmaking. And that person was somebody Scorsese and, Tarantino or somebody. And the thing is, if somebody... So I felt that somebody said to me, you should forget about it. And the thing is, if I would forget about it, that would be really not for me. But I didn't. So I kept my a sort of internal promise for myself. But still, of course, I'm still on a path of learning. I think learning is a all-time thing for artists. especially, and as you asked, what about my family? I think my family accepted.
So they accepted every
Yeah.
bit. Are they? I don't know. Do they at least feel proud of your works when you show them your films? Do you feel support now as years passed? Or they're just accepted and that's it?
I think they just accept it and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes I share things, but most of the time I don't share.
Mm-hmm.
I think in a way the thing is also, I think it's very hard to share with your family what you're doing, especially when you're an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think especially in the Uyghur type of
diaspora
thing.
Yeah.
I think it's my own internal thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard psychologically. But sometimes I hear from my cousins, especially who saw some of my works, and they share their positive opinions, and I feel like good.
So you're still receiving good feedback from your family.
Yeah.
It's great. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Maybe things will change through years, right? You never know.
Maybe,
yeah. As someone who's in filmmaking industry, you said that you loved watching films when you were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember some of your, I don't know, favorite movies and films when you were a child or maybe a teenager? And then what are your favorite films and movies right now? Or favorite directors, let's say?
I think it's one of the greatest question that there is, and it's the hardest question ever. We didn't have like a cable TV or something. We had like a local governmental Kazakhstani television with like 5 channels.
Mm-hmm.
And in the morning it was cartoons like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Sailor Moon and all types of that kind of entertainment for kids. But late at night there was some hardcore stuff, and I love to wait until everybody's asleep and go out
and go watch films at the midnight, right?
And go watch films after 10. And at that time, there was a lot of times I would stumble upon very strange films. I didn't know who that is, but it was Tarkovsky's movies.
Oh, really?
And it was Stalker. It was this old channel called Tan or Rahat, something like that. And they would show Tarkovsky's movies like every other week. Maybe they bought the license and they didn't have anything else. But the strange movie, Stalker, I was like 8 or 12 years old, and I was watching it. It's not a movie for, I think, this young age, but I was watching it and I was like, what the hell am I watching? I didn't know what that is, but it was so like mesmerizing thing. And I think that made a big impression on me. But of course, I watched a lot of like a Terminator movies and
Matrix
and all of that thing. Everything that was in 90s, like Jean-Claude Van Damme movies and Highlander, all that B action type of things. I loved it, and all my friends also loved it very much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we would watch that movies, and in the morning in school we would have this little like discussion clubs what we watched.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But most of the time it was like a Terminator 2, which we watch like every other week.
Okay.
On the reruns. Yeah.
So that was your tradition to watch Terminator 2.
But of course, also there was a lot of like John Woo movies with Chow Yun-fat and Jackie Chan movies. A lot of kung fu stuff we watched, and a lot of old Soviet movies. I loved the TV series Sherlock Holmes TV series.
The Soviet one, right?
Soviet one, yeah.
I loved it as well.
Yeah. And also there was this TV show called Cinema Club of Oleg Boretsky.
Oh yeah.
on Rahat channel, where this he is a philosophy
Philosopher, yeah.
professor, but also a cinephile of Kazakhstan, and he would prepare a movie and talk about the movie, and he will have like excerpts of this films. And that show was like 30 minutes an episode, and I would wait for that episode every week. And he would tell about these movies, and like I would wait for these excerpts to see them. Sometimes it would be like a Godfather, but I never saw the Godfather until I was like, I don't know, 14 or so. And yeah. But it's a long answer, because I have
all right.
a lot to say about that.
It's all right.
And also a big influence for me was the Brokeback Mountain. I remember I was about 12 or 13, and it was a late night movie show, and for some reason they aired it in Kazakhstan. And I watched the movie all alone, and I didn't know what it will be about, or I didn't know that there is certain type of love between one gender, and it's not prevalent in the society in Kazakhstan. But I saw that it was such a huge, mind-blowing thing to see that a story of love and in such a beautiful. Portrayed in such a beautiful way, and also in beautifully dramatic way, and
and the way how they sort of showed emotional connection between the key characters is also fascinating. I agree. It is mind-blowing to see something that you haven't seen and thought about, and portrayed in such tender, I guess, way. That's true.
Yeah, and especially to see that in a young age.
How old you were?
I don't remember. Maybe I was 14 or 13.
Okay, I think watched it when I was something about 14 and 15.
Yeah. And later in life, I was watching, when I was in teenagehood, I was watching a lot of European cinema, like Michael Haneke, or movies from Denmark, or all the Wim Wenders or Herzog movies. For some reason, they were on DVDs.
Oh, really?
In our family. Like my uncle, he was a cinephile, and he would get those movies.
All the DVDs in the shop, right?
On the shelf. Yeah. And right now, I think what's the favorite movies for me are, I think it's a very hard question. It's always changes.
Let's say at the current moment. It can change, but currently.
But in the top 3 is the Cranes Are Flying, 1960 movie from the director Kalatozashvili. He's a Soviet director. It's one of the key movies for cinema history. It's the first Palme d'Or of Soviet Union, and it's one of the greatest cinematography that nowadays European and American cinematographers reference. And it's the movie about the young woman being left alone during the World War II. And it's one of the most beautiful movies ever shot, I think. And also, for me, all the 70s, American 70s, like Scorsese and Sidney Lumet, and Godfather, first and second part, all the 70s, yeah.
Okay, you love the dramatic movies, right? Yeah. Dramatic and beautiful movies.
And also the documentaries of Godfrey Reggio, such as the Koeniskatsi, Povokatsi, like his main trilogy, and later the people who have been influenced by his works also. I love them.
Awesome. And now, as years pass, did all the films that you have named sort of influenced on your works in some way? Do you feel that?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I think whenever I have a chance to shoot something, whether it's rationally or irrationally, I always have direct or indirect influence by something I really like or love. Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously, because it's something that you absorb through years, and then when you try to create something your own, you usually unintentionally create something that reflects what you have absorbed previously, right?
I think so, yeah. I think it's nothing wrong with that.
No, of course.
Yeah.
It's a way of making art itself, isn't it? I think so. All right. I have another question that just came up to my mind. I come from an academical sort of background, and it's quite understandable for me that a person gets to a film school, then gets, for example, master's in the film school, then gets PhD in film school, whatever, in any science. So the pathway of your career is sort of different from academical background because you're an artist. And I'm interested, how would you sort of perceive, you got into a film school, and what do you want to do further? Do you want to just practice in film, or you want to learn as well something else and maybe get into another film school somewhere else? Do you have anything in that mind, or how is it done, basically? My question is, how it's done across film directors and filmmakers in Kazakhstan, for example. How do you build your experience? Only by practice, or as well as, getting additional education, courses, whatever?
I think education is very important, but it's the formal education is completely can be not necessary. You don't have to go to the film school to become somebody in the industry, director or producer or cinematographer. All the education is free right now.
By
internet or just by watching movies. You can learn the film is just a language that you can learn by watching the films, right? And practice, right? And I think for everybody is the path itself from the thinking that you want to shoot movies and to get there is completely different. For me and for my friends, it was the art academy and film school. But for a lot of people, it's just jumping into the industry as the assistant cinematographer or the helper on the set or whatever, or as an actor. And through the being on a set, you just pick up different experience, and then you get to the chance to shoot something. But of course, you have to always be keen on learning, whatever or whenever, wherever you are. Just being in a school doesn't make you
a good film director,
good film director or good producer or good cinematographer. Yeah. And of course, after you there's the saying in film school, in the first year, you are the greatest filmmaker. But when you finish the film school, you are nothing. You're a really bum on the street, but with a great ambitions. And only then you realize what is the reality. You have to forget all about what you learned
in the school,
and
and
you
now
have
go
to get into the reality.
Into the reality.
But for my workshop group, it was a bit different because our professor, we were lucky enough to get into the practice right away, and we were less in the theory but more in the practice.
Mm-hmm.
We're right away in a war situation. We're right away in working, and for me it was like that. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Good to hear that there are great professors that put kids straight into the practice, so that you're sort of after you've graduated, you didn't have a rough sort of line after you see the harsh reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
You sort of accepted it already while you were in school, and that's great because I think for all of those kids who are watching or listening to us and maybe thinking of starting to get into film or cinematography, it's great news that you can do that whatever you want, whenever you can. Just.
Mm-hmm. But I think I would add more. You don't have to wait to get into the film school or to the art school, because I think in Europe or in America it has a great tuitions, or to get the scholarship is very hard. Or in Central Asia there is not many of the film schools.
Yeah.
There are just 2 or 3 of them, and you don't have to wait. Just have to be very consistent with your
intention,
and you have to make a task for yourself. You have to research what is the film production companies around you, and you have to be Andy Dufresne in the Shawshank Redemption. You just have to write to them, or just go and knock to their doors and have to say hey, I don't know anything about film industry or anything, but I want to do something, and I can work there for a minimum wage, whatever assistant. I can sweep the floors, whatever the way, but you have to get into the industry, and through that you will get your a foot into the world of this thing. And also, I would add, when you already have the experience and you have the ambition to be a director, it's also a very different path from that point. You have to go and wait for the budgeting of your projects. And you always have to be in your pocket, in your Google Docs, you will need to have several film ideas and several finished scripts, or already the packages that you can show to the potential investors or production companies. And that's also a very different path from a beginning. And you have to also research all the programs that are available for that, and it's also super tedious work.
Yeah, but it's something that, in anything that you do in life, I guess there are 2 sides of the medal. One side is something that you like to do, and it's creating art, creating films, and the other side is budgeting, thinking of funding and stuff like that. I guess it works this way in any sphere in life. But following the storyline of your path, you graduated, you started making movies, right? Or what did you do after you finished the film school?
I graduated in 2017. It was also pretty hard time for me on a creative way, because you have to make some money for the living and for your own psyche state. And I was working a lot in a secondary team as the assistant director on a different projects, and a lot of as the director of the editorial departments. I edited a few feature films and a lot of commercials and music videos. Yeah, I think the editing is one of the most beautiful things that are available for filmmakers, because it's like a pure filmmaking, and it's the medium of art which is completely new, because everything that is connected to filmmaking was already established in human history. Like
I see.
acting was like a very ancient work. The painting as the production design is also quite old, and but the editing itself is very new. It's only like 100 years or
old.
so, and it's a super beautiful medium to work with. As they say, like the film, the borns when you write it first, then it borns when you shoot it, and the last like stage of the giving birth to the film is the editing. And to be an editor is sort of being this kind of a demiurge, like a little god on its own, because you can control the time, and you can control the everything from your fingers.
Yeah, interesting. I've never thought of it like that, actually. I hate editing all the videos that we shoot for Tarim, for example. The last stage for me, editing, is the hardest one, simply because you just sit down, think of how you want to shape the message that you showed, how you want to translate it. And for me, it's a tedious work. And it's interesting to see that, on the contrary to you, it's something that you love and adore.
Yeah, because editing, it's like you can create and be it's sort of a super fun work. Like one of my favorite editors in the industry is the Walter Murch, and I studied his work a lot and his theories. And it's like he was saying in his theory, in the blink of the eye, which I recommend to everybody, even if you're not in the film industry, recommend his book, In the Blink of the Eye. He edited one of the greatest movies, like Apocalypse Now and The Godfather, as I know. And for example, we sit here together, you and me. It's the one of the most simple movie sets. We have 3 cameras here, and the two shooting personal subjects, shots. 2 actors. And he would say, even though it's the most basic film unit, film scene, but you can edit it in one of the most fun ways, because in every movie you see, there is such a scene. In most of the movies you see. And his theory goes, one of the theories goes like this, in the blink of the eye. For example, he says, some people believe that there is no editing in the real life, but there is the editing. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning, you already edit your day, and it goes with the blink of the eye. For example, you think about something, you look outside and you see the bus going on the street, and it's the wide shot. And then you look on your watch, and you need to see what time it is. And it is the close-up shot.
Close-up shot, yeah.
But this moment of the cut, some people think it's unnatural. There is no cut in real life, but there is a cut in real life. Between these 2 shots of the wide shot of the bus and your watch is the blink of your eye.
Oh, yeah. After the moment you stop thinking about the bus and thinking about the time, right? This is and you blink, and you watch, this is the cut, sort of.
And this is the cut. And every time you cut from the different types of shots, the wide shot or the medium or close-ups, you blink. And in this set, we blink all the time. And my thoughts are jumping. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But he would edit, for example, one of the greatest actors. They never blink, like Al Pacino or Robert De Niro. You look their scenes, and most of the times they don't blink.
Really?
Yeah, most of the times.
I never noticed that.
Because of that, they're super intense, and that's one of the tricks for the young actress. Just don't blink.
Rule number one: don't blink.
If you don't get the intention of the scene, just don't blink, and then the editor can do something about it with his tools of editing. And also, I'm also jumping from this to the other film theory. It's called the theory of Kuleshov. Is one of the first film editors in the world. He was the Russian editor in Moscow in the beginning of the film industry, film era. He has his theory like this. He shot one man close up with neutral point of like a neutral state of the his mimic.
Facial
face, no facial expressions. But very static facial expressions. And he would juxtapose this shot with medium shots, three different medium shots. In one shot, there will be plate of the meal, and in different will be a casket with a dead body, and in another there will be a woman, a beautiful woman. So so that will be three different short scenes. And he would show this three scenes to the different people and ask them for their opinion on that. And in the first, where he sees the soup, they would say, I see that in his face he's very hungry. Or where he sees the casket with the dead body, people would say, I see that he's very sad. And in the case where he sees the woman, they would say, he feels some sort of a sympathy or even love to that woman. And that would be, later would be called the effect of Kuleshov. So you don't even have to act, you just have to edit something and juxtapose the next shot. And through that shot, the viewer will get the emotional response through that. It's very interesting. Yeah.
All right. Oh my God, I even forgot what was the beginning of my question. I think I've asked, what did you do after you've graduated? You said that you started working as an assistant for various, you said musical videos, programs, TV programs. But what was your first, let's say, short film that you shot?
It's a good question.
Do you at least remember?
I think I should remember. We would get through the semester in film school. We would need to shoot a short film. Like sometimes it would be 2 minutes short film or whatever. But I think, to go back to the previous question, I think what was one of the biggest influence for me to be on the set? In 2014, it was for me second year of film school. I got invited to work as the assistant on a Netflix production of the Marco Polo TV series, and they would shoot the exterior scenes in Kazakhstan, and they would shoot them in Uyghur district in Almaty region. And I got invited to work there. And it was the huge production. It was like 500 people in
the cast? Okay.
And 300 people every day were like extras. And it was completely international crew. The Americans were the main producers group. And the British were on camera, and French were also on camera, and also and Kazakh people were like mostly on the secondary crew positions, and I was in assistant digital imaging technician person, and there was three big cameras that I never worked with before, with crazy type of lenses that I also never saw before. It was Panavision lenses, and I only saw them in film theory books, and I was completely in awe all that working days, and it was also physically super challenging. I would need to run through one camera to another with a BNC cord to plug it in so the director of photography would see the image and control his aperture rightly. And my boss, the main DIT person, he was Irish guy, and he would be completely angry with me first weeks. He would be like, in his Irish accent, he would be like, "You fucking motherfucker, be faster!" Every day. It was complete, and in the end of the day, I was super happy, but always also super beaten up.
Stressed, right?
Stressed, but yeah. But also I was like so in awe of every individual who worked there. Especially there was like the people who worked with lights and who put the dollies on the set, the grip people. They were old people, old British crew guys, and they were super cool, super chilled guys, and smoking all the time and joking, but in the end of the day, I would go home and check their IMDb pages, and they would be like crazy movies.
Really?
They would work with Ridley Scott on Alien and Blade Runner and stuff like that. I would come to the set next day and would be like, "Did you really work on that?" They were like, "Oh yeah, it was like crazy days." And there were people who worked on Lord of the Rings, and I was like, "Did you really work on Lord of the Rings?" And they were like, "Yeah, we would throwing mud and shit every day to each other." Yeah, and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." Yeah, that was one of the biggest influence for me as being on the set.
So that was your first experience on being on the set of a big film production, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And but short films that I shot, I think I shot a lot of them every year in a film school, and nobody saw them except my film school professors and friends, and I think all my friends we have all of them, and we are pretty much ashamed of them.
Really?
Yeah, I think would never show them to anybody, and yeah, but all of them were sort of the beginning of finding ourselves and finding our voices. Yeah.
Things. All right. And what about the films that you're not ashamed of? And what are the films that other people can watch, for example? Of yours, of course.
After finishing film school, I was working a lot, and as I said, and only about in 2019 I started to move and believing really that I should make something serious, and maybe I can make something serious because I have the skill, and I think I have the obligation to put it into the work. And one of my internal movements that I love my culture, the Uyghur people, and that time the crackdown in Vatan and East Turkestan and Uyghurstan were like in highest peaks, and I started to develop and research the documentary on the people who been lucky enough to escape the concentration camps, and I found the organization who helps out people to sort of escape and relocate them to Kazakhstan. Mostly, it's the people from Kazakh ethnicity from East Turkestan, and I started to shoot that documentary. And I'm still in the process of producing it, but at the moment I have a little like a short film out of it. And
is it about Dina, right?
It is about Dina that we shot those interviews with my with the German artist that was in 2020 here in Kazakhstan. He was a cinematographer at that time, and we shot those interviews. And this short film is about Dina Nurtubai. She has a very strong story that she shared, and also we shot like 5 other interviews with other people who experience similar stories. Amongst them is the one Uyghur person. She is right now in US, but we're still in the process of editing that story. Yeah.
So you started.
Her name is Tursunay.
Tursunay. Okay. So you started sort of searching. Well, basically, what happened? The concentration camps. When let's say the condition of people in Vatan was getting worse and worse within the years. And you said that in 2019, right? Or 2020, around that time, you started researching more and thinking how you can contribute somehow, right? Not everyone can solve this issue. At least we can somehow talk about it, show it. And you started finding people who experienced escaping from the concentration camps. And you said that you started shooting interviews and you're still in the process, right? So basically there is a film, is it called In Search of Dina, or?
It's just called Dina.
It's just called Dina. I saw the film. Honestly, I think I saw it this year during the Jangai Shikara, right? Film festival. I think it was one of the most powerful stories shown there, simply because you see the scenery of common places here in Kazakhstan. And I was watching it and thinking, wow, these people are right now living somewhere here. It's not across the border anymore. The issues that happen there somewhere far than you believe in your real life are getting closer and closer to us through these people as they immigrate, they run away, they stay here, and they talk. And I was fascinated with the bravery that Dina had to share the story. It was emotionally difficult for me to watch. It's always emotionally extremely difficult to watch anything related to concentration camps. Even to think about it is hard. And my question is, how did you overcome this burden of hardships that you see from your people while making this movie? How was it for you to shot the interviews, to get to know people? Because I see that it takes a lot of time, right? You started in 2020. It's already 2024. You're still producing it. What is like, is emotional burden a big challenge for you, or is there something else that sort of stops the production and prolongs it?
It's incredibly important topic that you're raising. For example, when I was just researching and I was going and to the office where they gather all the time. It's called Atajut. It's Kazakh human rights organization here, and there's Kazakhs and Uyghurs inside of that office, and they're always like huddled all together. They have their tea and stuff, but outside, most of the time there is like a local law enforcement person just checking up on them, and which has sort of this big brother watching you all the time, even though you're already not in China under Chinese eye. And when we were shooting, some of the law enforcement people in like a civilian clothes first approached me and were casually asking me, "What you doing? Like, what's up with that?" And me being quite naive, I was like saying, "Yeah, I'm a film director, etc. I'm inspired by this topic personally." And then that person showed me his credentials, and he said, "You know what? Let's step aside. Let's talk like more seriously." And I was like, "Oh man, what a bummer! I thought you were a normal guy."
Just a guy.
Yeah. And then, for example, when we were shooting more hardcore activists from those organizations, we would need to be more careful and find more secluded locations, because they have a tail, and we would be afraid that we also would have a tail. And this is one of the parts, which is also a bit hard, but you always compare yourself with the reality of the main Uyghur population is receiving at this moment, and then you laugh at yourself bitterly. What the hell? Why are you even having these feelings? That's one of the things. But the other thing is when I shot those interviews, there was my friend who was helping me with the translation, and during the interviews, the people would share their uttermost, bloodshed stories of their life, and they would cry, and I would sit there being very much detached, but also inside of the stories, and but still I would internalize all their stories. And in the end of this block of the shooting, of course, during the interviews, I would not show that I have any I would not cry with them, but of course I would be empathetic in my way of interviewing. But in the end, after a week of that, I noticed that I was just going home after the interview, and I saw something, some detail out of the interview, that somebody said something, very detailed. I saw it with, I don't know, a bird was passing by or something like that, and it came down upon me like crazy. I just sat on the bench and was just crying for about half an hour, and I couldn't get up because of that. And afterwards, for like weeks or months, whenever I tried to approach the editing of the interviews, I couldn't, because I would just, my hands would be shaking. I would just be crying, just watching their interviews. At the same moment, I would be like beating myself up, because like, what the hell, my man? What are you doing? Like, why you cannot do it? And for a long time, I just couldn't. That was, and because that I developed the trauma of editing. I couldn't edit any other stuff. Also, because I cannot edit my thing, my Uyghur thing. That's an interesting thing. But I think it's also simple psychology, and I was in the process of dealing with it for quite some time, but I went outside of it.
Okay, so you feel that you're sort of stepped out of this traumatic feeling, let's say. Right. Happy
but
to
also
hear that.
To add on, to make such a heavy movie, you have to have a budget, and I didn't have an experience of applying for big film funds, and with this project, I'm trying to apply to the funds and the programs throughout the world. I have like a handful of rejections already, but I also have a few people and organizations that they're quite keen on supporting that project.
Glad to hear that. You're very much interested in. Oh, sorry. You said that you were filming that with a German friend of yours. So the whole team was basically you and your friend.
The interview parts in 2020, 5 interviews were shot with this German co-author, and the Dina short film was primarily edited by him.
Okay, so that was
the other part, which is going to be the feature film, is mostly Kazakhstani crew. Is my Kazakh editor and the Kazakh cinematographer.
Awesome. So it's not a big team. It's just a couple.
No, it's just 5 or so people.
Up to 5 people, right? No more. Awesome. It's great to see that. I mean, in my perception, I thought that to make something as good as this, you need to have a big crew for that to help you. But it appears that you just need to have an idea, a story.
I think you have to have a bigger crew.
Bigger crew?
In every stage of filmmaking. But for a documentary, as long as you have less individuals involved, you have more possibilities to give yourself time to understand
and reflect, right?
Your role, and reflect, and when you do, I'm self-producing it, and I don't have people to tell me when I have to finish it. But of course, it has the two ends of that story. It prolongs the time when the people can see it, but it also gives me time to approach it more artistically.
Okay. You're very keen on showing and researching our culture, Uyghur culture, and the first thing that you see on I saw on your Instagram page, for example, was how many posts you have and small shots, photo shots, exhibits from your short films about Uyghurs in different ways. Some showing the culture, some showing the current state, political state, or issues that Uyghurs are undergoing through. Was it simply your sort of internal feeling of, I don't know, duty driving you to do that many works about Uyghurs? Or is it something else?
It's also a very, very important question that I am contemplating on my own. When we used to grow up, I had a friend who is also like a third cousin of mine. He's like 5 years older than me, and he would always be like super patriotic towards our people. He'd always say, Uyghur, and this and that, and always having a small Uzbekistan flag with him. Of course, I'm hyperbolizing that, but yeah, he was this one of the main people who installed this idea that we have to. Yeah, he had this idea of regaining the like
the
many
state,
other people,
right?
the state, regaining the state of for Uyghurs. And for a long time, especially in a young age, we would be like, yeah, we have to do it. I think every Uyghur person, young or old, everybody have this idea of
at
regaining.
least once in a life you think of that.
Yeah, and I think it's in the back of our minds. We would read Zia Samadi, Reni Batur, the novel, which is super heroic, the times of, I think, First East Turkestan Republic, and how Reni Batur with his friends would like collect the squads of the guerrilla forces and fight Chinese people, and that would be such a big impression in a way of growing your love and sort of a patriotic feeling towards your people, and sort of also artistic way, because Zia Samadi, he had a great feeling of structure for literature, and also in the story of my family, which I think many of the Uyghur people in Central Asia share. I would always ask my grandmother, how did you appeared in Kazakhstan? And she would always say in a joking way, I came here on a ship.
Oh, really?
We were here in a ship, and I would imagine like a big Titanic ship, and I would be like, you're joking, Grandma.
Oh, really? Because mine love to say, sorry for interrupting, but because my grandmother and grandfather used to joke and say, we came here by Ishak and Arba. And I was like, really? Hundreds of kilometers by Ishak? Are you serious? And they were like, yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah, and for a long time I wouldn't believe that, and but actually, it is a real story. The Ili River in that time had so much water that it was capable to have the ships through Uyghur land to the Kazakh land. So there was a ship connection. So in the time of this big wave of relocation, like the late 1940s, when my grandparents came, they really, with the little children, left their homes and came to Kazakhstan, and started their new life, which is, I think, a very beautiful story. They would, like my grandmother and my aunt was like 7 or so years old. They would share the stories how they would live around Olja. I don't remember what was the name of the
area,
the village, but they would live near the some river. And my aunt would say this, would share the story how my grandmother, when she was young, would bring her two little daughters to the banks of the river, and she would have this long dress, and she would catch fish with her one layer of her skirt.
Oh, really?
Like a crouch and catch the fish. And I would imagine it, such a scenic, like a painting of Renaissance type of a painting of something fairy tale.
Yeah, very bright colored dress,
bright
right?
Colored dress and green grass and clear water, and how my grandmother is catching fish. And then one day they have to leave that beautiful thing because Mao Zedong is coming and killing everybody. And her husband, my grandfather, he came from, I think, Kashgar area. He lost his family due to the clashes with Chinese people. He was alone. And my other part of the family, my father's family, his grandfather was a teacher, and his brother was official in Hulja. I think his name was Abdrim Aisa, and he was killed by Chinese forces in his office. And afterwards, my grandfather had to flee because of the immediate danger to his family. Yeah. So all the family stories which were charged with emotions, and some of my friends ideas, internal feelings. I think that shaped the love for that. And also you read and see the pictures of the East Turkestan, of the Yadykar, all these great cities, Kashgar, Turfan, Yarkand, and all their stories. And they have such a fantasy type of aura for them, about them. The Taklimakan desert, it's like a dune, which is right now super popular.
Yeah.
But it was for thousands of years, the dune life, it was for us, for Uyghurs. They call it Taklimakan, the place from which you don't return. And the Uyghurs already had this relationship with the desert, which is portrayed in the dune to be like in Dune, like in Frank Herbert's theory of future. In the planet of Dune, they Fremen have the Islam, but already they practice Islam in a future, evolved way. And we were in Taklimakan, I think, also with their shamanistic and Tengrin way of living. They also practice their own
adopted and adjusted Islam, right?
Not a religion, but a type of a philosophy, which is, in my mind, bloomed in this very interesting way. The Turpan and all this, cities, they built this crazy Taris system, thousands of years ago, where all other Central Asia were nomadic. But of course, Uyghur people were also nomadic, but they had this very interesting relationship between being nomadic and being sedentary. It's incredible. And the thing is that I am disconnected to this land, to my second or first or a proto homeland. In my heart and soul, it is sort of a how how do you? What was the thing? This when you open the shelf in this. This is my Narnia. Like
Okay.
Veten, it is my Narnia, because I will never be in Kashgar or Turpan, but I can visit it in through my internal gaze, or I can research or send a message to my like imaginary brothers and sisters out there somehow. Which was the short film, like A Letter Home, that we made in 2021.
So basically, A Letter to Home was your way of sending messages to your Narnia, right?
Yeah.
Could you please tell a bit more of how did you came up with this idea and how did you created it?
It was the time after COVID, like a restriction, quarantine, and my friend is a like contemporary artist, also Uyghur, young contemporary artist. Let me remember. He won a little, very small grant from a Swiss art foundation, and he had an idea to make a performance concerning with Uyghur culture, and from that we developed the idea that we collect the messages from around the world, from the Uyghur community and Kazakh community who lost their connection with the loved ones, and we go to the border and play them out loud as this artistic gesture way. It was this. Basically, it was the idea. He himself was studying in different country at that time, so I was left alone to make it and like a line produce it here. And I couldn't find the actor who would be on the frame, or I couldn't find. We had a lot of different ideas to put inside. Couldn't find a production designer because I had this idea that only Uyghurs should be involved. And whenever I would ask my acquaintances from Uyghur semi-art community, they would be like, "No, like I'm sorry, we're afraid, etc." Of course, it's understandable, but I would be so like angry with my Uyghur community because they show this fear, but they live in completely privileged situation here in like Kazakhstan. But anyway, I couldn't find the crew, so I asked that my cousin, childhood friend, to help me out, and that was like incredible. He came with his friend with a car, and he also asked a cinematographer from not a Uyghur community and a sound person also not from Uyghur community. So mainly it was just my friends not from Uyghur community who
helped
me to make this like a short documentary art film. So in March 2021 we went to the border. We didn't tell to anybody because we also was like a bit paranoid that we are under some surveillance, but we weren't. And to get to the border, it's like about 4 hours, and we were near. First, we went to the Horgos, the borderline, and the border police was like, "It's quarantine there. What the fuck are you doing here, guys?" They were like, "Oh, we want to shoot some music video." No. They were like, "Okay." And we were just went 20 minutes away up the border where we had this barbed wire situation. and you can see, we would see like out there in horizon this tall buildings of Horgos, and there we shot this, like made this thing. We placed our big speakers and played that out loud. Yeah. And later we showed this film on that exhibition. It's called Asphalt Lines and Lives. And we showed it here in Almaty twice for Janga Shikara, which is produced by Rafkat and Medina and Zarina, people who are also putting a lot of work into the agenda of Uyghur situation. And I showed it in Amsterdam this year with the help of my friend Kas. And we showed it also in some of the German exhibitions as well. And yeah, it's available on internet as of this moment.
You can watch it on Vimeo or?
I think we posted it on YouTube.
On YouTube. Okay.
And on my Instagram as a short version.
So the film that you have on Instagram is a short version of the whole.
Yeah.
Film. Okay, got it.
It's like the actual documentation is like 10 minutes, and Instagram is 4 minutes. Yeah. The voices were from different countries, as well as from Kazakhstan. Yeah.
Some of them are from Kazakhstan, some from US, Europe, all around the world.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any plans on further developing and working on other Uyghur-related films?
Of course. That's one of my, I think, teachers in art. He was saying that if you find your pain, you find your art, and this is like my pain. So the pain is one of the biggest engines for the art, I think. Pain and love. So this is in one bottle, pain and love. Of course, I would be further along the way. Do related projects.
Awesome. And if we'll talk about, you slightly touched upon the topic of finding a crew and having an idea that there has to be 100% Uyghurs in the crew of making projects like Dina, like Letter Home. But you said that there are various types of challenges that you're facing. People are afraid, and it is obviously understandable why they could be afraid of taking part in films, in your films, for example. How do you feel the local Kazakhstani Uyghur diaspora reflects and perceives your art, for example? Do you receive enough feedback from them to understand maybe why is this happening?
Local Kazakhstani diaspora audience, I guess for them, I think I am quite invisible. This is how I feel, because I feel like Kazakhstani diaspora, they live in their own bubble, and except of the handful of the artists, and they're all, as I call them, like lonely wolves. Like there is amazing cinematographers and like painters and musicians, but they're all not integrated into the diaspora type of the creating art. And I throughout my waking life, I always try to find the channels to be integrated or to get friendly with them, but it's always face some sort of I don't know if I can call it a challenge, but I feel like they live in their own type of world. Like, it's very funny. A lot of the Uyghur culture activists of the diaspora, there is a few of them, but they all in sort of a conflict with each other.
Yeah. So we have like small little bubbles all around each other.
Yeah.
Like, these people are, I don't know, too religious. These ones are not religious at all. These are artists. These are those. These are that.
These are political.
Yeah,
These are not political.
Yeah.
And you approach this person and you say, I need this and this. And they're like, but this is from this channel and this is from this channel. And I don't speak on this one.
Okay.
With this one, I don't shake hands. And it's like a soap opera. And this is very time consuming in a way to work with them. I really, really hope that someday there will be a way to find proper, tools.
Yeah, and build bridges between people, different people inside the community. I faced similar, which is interesting. I also thought that when I was growing up as a kid, I saw that there is a community of artists, like painters in Uyghur diaspora. And I knew them simply because my grandfather was a painter. And then I saw like a community of poets, a community of scientists, for example. And then there's a community of artists from the theater, for example. And like just different groups of different people. Not all of them are connected with each other. Not all of them are friendly with each other. And I thought that it was a problem inside our diaspora in particular. But a couple of months ago, we had a youth empowerment program under the Tarim network. And I was so lucky to participate in it and visit the Sefaköy district in Istanbul, where most of the Uyghur immigrants live. And I realized while talking with people and kids from that mahalla and district, they told us, we have the same. We have like this group of people that are this kind of religious, this group of people that are too integrated into Turkish population. That the other group of people are artistic and political, for example. The other group of people, and they also don't have bridges between them. And that was so interesting for me to notice that that meant for me that it's not a problem that only we are facing here in Kazakhstan. It's probably a problem that everybody across the world in every different countries where Uyghurs live right now, where they're facing it. And hopefully, I believe that we would be able to create some sort of cultural hubs or maybe community hubs for youth. Because I think that for elderly people, not to say that they're old and that's done for them, but I think that for young people, it's easier to remove the obstacles that were built by others and maybe start communicating and integrating more with each other. Hopefully this will happen. But putting this topic aside, I wanted to also talk about your other film that is not about Uyghurs. It's called The Voice of Glacier, right? I also saw some small exhibits and parts of the film at your Instagram page. Didn't saw, unfortunately, the whole film yet, but we'll do that if it's available online. Could you please tell what did you do there? How did you shot it? Because I think it's such an amazing idea of portraying big environmental issue in a cinematic way. And the story that was behind it, as I understood, is a story of scientists and researchers that are researching that glacier specifically.
It all started with my passion of hiking. I used to love to go to the mountains every week since my early 20s. and a lot of times I would go all by myself, which I completely don't recommend to anybody. It's
dangerous,
incredibly dangerous, and incredibly not wise thing to do. So I think in 2014 I lost the trail. It was like early spring. It was quite wet and started snowing and being rainy at the same moment, very fast, and I got quite high. And the fog enveloped all around me, and I got a little bit panicky, and I thought, should I go back or shouldn't I? And at some moment, I was looking further away, and I saw the silhouette of two men out of the fog, a little higher than me, and the fog a little bit dispersed, and they were like, "Hey, boy, what you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm hiking, and I'm a little bit lost." And they saw me that I'm not such a professional hiker, and I'm quite cold and wet. And they were like, "Hey, come on in." And they had this, and when the fog dispersed, and I saw clearly that I am in some sort of a station. For the first time, I saw the Glacier station. It's called T1, Tuyuksu, named after the glacier itself that they are researching. And there, for the first time, I heard the profession of the glaciologists. There's two researchers were stationed there, and they gave me some tea. And they said to me, "Never go to the mountains alone, you stupid motherfucker." And yeah, I went home and a little bit got inspired by that people. They showed me the glacier and how it's melting, their agenda, and it was just living in the back of my mind for about 7 or so years. And in 2019 or 2020 or 21, I went to the Kazafilm studios, the major studios, where one of the documentary filmmakers from all time was gathering young documentary filmmakers and looking for the ideas to pitch for the film fund. And he said, "So you're a documentarian, do you have any ideas?" And I said, "I'm thinking about the glacier people for quite some time." He said, "Yeah, let's go, let's do it."
Really?
Yeah. And I developed further this idea of two researchers based 3,900 meters high up and working in a complete solitude in a harsh climate situation, researching the glacier that is melting rapidly and dying in a way. And in 30 years, it will melt away. And as it being representative for all other glaciers for Central Asia, it shows that all of them will initially cease to exist by 2050, and the whole of the region will suffer out of water shortages for drinking, and the social problems will arise, and even there is thinking that military conflicts can arise, especially in the borders like Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, because they're all connected in such tight ways. And it is very a harsh scenario, but and the populations of these countries need to feel that their children will see that, like in the very near future. So that's the idea. But of course, me being me appreciating this first and foremost, this cinematic and more of a emotional way of showing the idea. We decided to show it not in a TV style, without the tools of a voiceover or the interviews. So we chose to tell the story of the scientists, researchers, primarily through the visuals and the sounds, and hence the name, the voice of the glacier. For that project, we won the pitching session for the local film fund, and we received what we asked, quite a big budget for us, and we hired complete cinematic team. It was almost 15 people of us stationed on the glacier. It was incredibly harsh situation because there is no
internet, probably, right?
No internet, no cell phone connection, no connection with the outside world. There is no simple stuff like shower or warm water. And for example, to make food, you have to boil a piece of potato for hours because of the high altitude. And people were suffering out of instant depressions out of the being on the high altitudes right away, and instant colds, because there is we were in it's always a winter there. It's always a snow. So even we're living in this huts, and those huts were metallic. It was like a metallic tubes, containers. Right? Yeah, we're living in these containers. Which were super cold, and you need to put layers upon layers to fall asleep at night. And but it was incredibly beautiful every day. And to go to the location of the glacier itself, would spend an hour of the hike, all the 15 people with heavy gear,
with cameras, right?
And cameras and tripods. We would, and we got so crazy. We brought a dolly grip with us, with a Pantera slide and super heavy thing. And people in the studio were like, "You crazy people! Why are you making your life more miserable
and complicated, right?"
Yeah, but we were like, we have to do it. We need to make it. We have to show it as it is, beautiful as it is, because in 10-30 years it will exist. It was it will not exist anymore. And but compared with Uyghur stories, it was physically challenging, but it was psychologically much more easier. Although it was bigger crew, bigger responsibilities, but it was much more easier. And even though every day we were facing crazy winds. And for example, we would need to go up on the glacier, and through the territory of the glacier there is this cracks, wells, which are 100 meters deep, and if you fall, you will never get out of there, even if you have all types of pre-measurements of ropes and stuff. because they're so unexpected in their structure. You would know where that person who fall there. So with that feeling, we would each step on the glacier was with a feeling that this is the last step you ever take. And the glaciologists were first, and I was first of my crew, and I was making steps in such a way that I would step on the glacier people's steps. But at some points, the snow would go, and we would lose their steps. And all my crew would only follow my steps, literally. But I would be like...
responsibilities, and you're right.
I would make the steps as wide as possible. So if somebody would fall, I would never forgive myself.
But everyone was safe, right?
Everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, we all survived. But also, there was such a crazy situation under the glacier's a threshold. There is this thing. It's called moraine, and there is on moraine the descent. How do you call the descent that is quicksand? And you cannot notice it because I don't know. It's like you see the sand, you walk on sand, but you don't know which spot is a quicksand. And one day, I needed to have one detail on the shot. There was this wooden sticks that the researchers would put to measure how much the glacier would melt. And I would be like, I need that stick on this exact spot for the surely for the beauty of the shot. And I took that stick and I threw it to that spot, but I couldn't balance myself, and I made a step and I fell to the quicksand. The quicksand, and I didn't know, but I felt it. The sand started to, and I was sinking in very quickly into the ice cold water quicksand. And at that point, I was like, it was like just seconds. And I was like, oh boy, I think this is how I go.
This is the end, right?
This is the end. And it was at the same moment, it was a very interesting feeling that it was chilling feeling, like the water, I felt like this cold water, this ice cold water sinking into my feet, and my legs were sinking in. And I saw the crew in very slow motion getting panicky. My friend cinematographer running up to me in the slow motion. And I was thinking, at the same moment, my wife was pregnant, and I was waiting for my daughter to be born in a not right away, but in some time afterwards. Short period of time. But at that moment, I was like, Jesus, I'll never see my daughter.
Oh my God.
But it's crazy. But then next shot, I see my friend's hand, and his gaze, his panicked face on me, and he took me out of the this quicksand. Yeah,
and
I was
survived.
just laughing. We were all laughing about it. It was amazing. Yeah, but the crew is like, if you would go down, we would not know what to do. Yeah.
I feel like you can even shot a film about you making this film, right?
Yeah, maybe there would be more action-packed film. Yeah. We shot the film, and it is. We also had a lot of the fights with the studio, fighting for our creative standpoints. But I think it doesn't matter. Everybody's facing such a thing. And after we finished, it was premiered in German Film Festival in city of Cottbus, where it was quite well received. and afterwards we showed it in Bastau Film Festival in Almaty, where it won one of the prizes. It also was nominated in other film festivals, and this year is also, we will continue the festival run for the film.
Awesome. Happy to hear that everybody from the crew survived. Nothing serious happened. Thank you so much. I think, Yadykar, we could speak for hours more about your fascinating life stories and experience that you had while making films. However, I think it's time to finish our recording. In case there is something that you want to say and share with the public, you can use this time right now. Otherwise, I will just
Wrap up,
and say my sort of summing up speech as I usually do.
I think we have a few more topics to discuss. To roll back a little bit, we touched upon the thing that a lot of communities inside the Uyghur community, they're a little bit in conflict with each other. And it brings me back to one of the childhood memories, where I was spending a lot of time in a Uyghur village type of area where everybody were Uyghur, and there was this thing, even it was multinational village, but even though there's a lot of Uyghurs, there was this thing, some older boys would come over and would make people fight with each other, I think it was prevalent all around Central Asia, but it would pick on two best friends. Like I would be best friends with somebody at that time. Like, for example, be best friends with Aziz, with my Uyghur friend. And this older boys, also Uyghur boys, would say, hey, you would fight Aziz, or you, Aziz, would fight him. And you sort of, even though you rationally understand that it's completely wrong, you have no chance but to make this fight with your friend.
To follow what the older kids.
Some older generation is doing. And out of it grows, I was thinking about it a lot of times, that there is this internal fight with each other. I think even though we're all in love with Uyghurness in ourselves, but there is also the fight with the Uyghurs inside the communities. And I think maybe it comes from the internal fight with your internal Uyghur.
Yeah, maybe.
or it's the generational trauma, which someday you have to stop it. Like, for example, I didn't have a chance. I had to find my best friend for the entertainment of somebody else. And that made big, sort of a traumatic experience for me. So this boy have to have the standpoint of, hey, you older boys, maybe I fight with you instead, but not with my best friend, or something like that. Who knows?
Hopefully the younger generations will realize that it's easier to spread love instead of hate and fights, right? And build bridges, as we said earlier.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this fascinating story, because I've never heard of older guys coming and saying, like, hey, your two best friends fight with each other. I've never seen that, honestly. Maybe because I'm younger.
Maybe it stopped at some time.
Yeah, maybe this... Maybe
it's completely stupid.
Good news. Yeah, agree. Totally strange thing to do. Thank you so much, Yadykar, for coming today. Thank you for sharing all of your amazing stories and experiences. We wish you all luck with your upcoming projects. In case our listeners are interested in watching some of your works or following what you will do in future, they could follow you on Instagram, right? And your account is...
Which is Yengisar.
Yengisar.
In the name of the city of Yengisar. Yengisar.
Yengisar, right? Awesome. And you said that some of your works are available on YouTube, right?
Yes.
All right. So feel free to watch Yadykar's films, get familiar with them, follow him. Obviously, follow Tarim Network and Tarim Talks on YouTube and Instagram as well. We've discussed a lot today. To sum up, we've talked about your works, the way how you came into the film industry, your life stories. You shared a lot of family stories, a lot of personal experiences on different sets. Thank you so much, Yadykar, again. Rahmat, everyone who was listening to us today and watching us on YouTube as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Köp and Chong Rahmet, and let's collaborate all the Uyghur artists.